What's up, everybody? This is your boy DJ Killzown Jones, and I'm here. We're doing another Killzone Interviews, and today I have my man Big Shel, aka Sin Killer of the Fighters Alliance. What's up, Big Shel? Big Shel, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I had to turn off this music. I was like, where's this music coming from? So what's up,
I was
everybody?
getting. Uh, let's see who we got left. We got in the chat. No, we people coming in now. Uh, but on the show, y'all, on Killzone Interviews, I interview pretty much people from my city, but I also like to talk to people abroad. This show is for everybody. Anybody I see doing something positive, um, you know what I'm saying, uplifting their community or just sticking to their craft, I like to have on the show. So go ahead, Shell, let everybody know uh who you are, introduce yourself and what you represent.
All right, my name is Shelton. My sign or my nickname is Big Shel. My game handle is Sin Killer. I'm a jack of all trades. Basically, I basically co-host the Real Gamer Show podcast. I also am managing director of the Fighters Alliance LLC, which is a professional um, fighting game community esports team that travels around the nation to play in various tournaments. And I'm a hardcore gamer and a loving husband and a great ass dad. So that's about it.
All right. So, Shell, let's get a time machine. This is what I do on the show. Let's get in the time machine and let's go back 30, maybe 40 years ago and tell, no, I'm just playing, but just tell the people 20 or 30 years ago and tell the people, how did you get your start in gaming? When did you fall in love with gaming? And then when did you fall in love with fighting games? That's what everybody wants to know.
All right. Um, well, the first game I ever played was like I was 3 years old. I'm about to I'm pretty much 38 years old. The first time I played a video game, I was 3 years old, 1979. My dad, who was in the army, just came home from Germany, brought me a Atari 2600 CBS. I remember picking that box was about as big as me. I remember surfboarding it down to my grandma's basement, hooking it up, and I remember the first game I ever played.
Hold on. Surfboard it down to the basement. You rolled.
Yeah, I got on the box and it went flying down the steps.
Wow.
So, belly it was laying on my belly. It was like down the steps. And then the first game I played was Pitfall, and I thought it was
Oh yeah.
the hardest goddamn game I ever played in my life. I got to like the third screen with 3 crocodiles and kept dying, so I turned that off. Then I played Combat, and I just loved the planes, and I loved the tank missions. And then I was all right, cool. Then I played baseball, and I hated baseball, so I turned it off. So then I went back to Combat. Since then, I've been playing all types of games and every games, and I enjoyed. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a gamer because all the games that came out, I was there at the rise of arcades. I was there for the fall of home consoles. I was there for the rise of Nintendo, the rise of PlayStation,
Mm.
and all that. Now, my love for fighting games, it came. Well, I remember going to Major Magics in the suburbs of Detroit. I
Mm.
played the very first Street Fighter. Now, the very first Street Fighter came out, I want to say 86, 87. And the thing about that, the very first Street Fighter, it sucked ass. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Everybody knew that, but
it didn't help. They had like 2 buttons, them big ass saucer ass buttons for punch and kicking. You had to really punch them and hit them. And
hmm
I hated that game. I was like, this game sucks. Let me go back and play Dig Dug. But it wasn't until in my local arcade we walked in there one day and we saw Street Fighter 2, and we was like, what is this game? And we start playing it. And the first time we played it, I was like, we was going through the characters. At that time, it was me and my best friend, and the first, I was like, Pick the
Mm.
girl, pick the girl. We picked the girl, and we was all damn. Was like, look at her legs, look at her legs. She thick as hell. Look at her legs. I'm talking about Chun Li. He was like, look at her legs. So my very first character and the very first character I made was Chun Li, just because she had thick ass thighs. I was like, ain't no white woman got thighs like this. So yeah.
Uh-huh.
So and then from there, started people from the neighborhood started coming up to the arcade and started playing fighting games. And since then, I've been hooked and started playing fighting games ever since because fighting games really kept me out of the streets. You know how people be like, "This is my anti-drug." Well, video
Mm,
games was my anti-drug, and fighting games damn sure kept me alive and out of
mm.
jail. So,
I feel you on that one. So now let's uh let's jump a little bit further. So what made you decide, to play, to be a competitive fighter? I mean, Street Fighter 2, for all intents and purposes, was the dawn of the competitive fighter.
hmm
And what made you want to get into the competitive fighting scene?
well, I always wanted to be in the competitive fighting scene, but real life, sometimes it can throw you a fastball. Like,
Hmm.
I was, I mean, look, growing up in the hood, no matter where you at, you can be in St. Louis, you can be in Detroit, you can be in New York. If you're coming in the inner city, there's always vices just to get you outlet. Like I said, video games was my outlet, but the one vice that always catch, especially a young black male, is from females. So, me
Hmm.
being hard headed and whatnot, I was always, if I wasn't playing video games, I was playing basketball. If I wasn't playing basketball, I was always trying to get on with some female. And eventually it caught up with me, and I had my son, and I didn't want to be a statistic, so I had to take care of him. And so meanwhile, my friends back at my arcade, they started venturing out. This is like
Hmm.
99, 2000. They started venturing out, started going to Chicago, started going to New Jersey, started going to New York to play in tournaments. And then eventually we heard about this tournament called B3 that was in California, and
Hmm.
B5, and people were saving their money to go there. But I couldn't save my money, while I have people, local greats and legends from my town called Video and TKK and Adonis the God. They was busy saving their money to go to California. Meanwhile, I was saving my money to buy Pampers for my son. And, that's one of my biggest
Hmm.
regret. One of my biggest regret is, not the ability to go travel with them and become, legends in the fighting game community now. But it was then that I couldn't. I was busy in the job. I got married. Like at 23. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I got married at 23. I had a family, what I'm saying, and I was doing good. I had a good job and whatnot, but I always hear about, I go to the arcade and I always hear about my friends like, yeah, we met this guy, we met Justin Wong, we played against this guy, we played against that guy, what I'm saying, we getting good in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at the arcades, and meanwhile I'm taking care of my family. It wasn't until 2008 when
Hmm.
Street Fighter 4 came out, and I was like, look, this is my last hurrah. I'm getting older. I want to try this. I want to, I can, my kids is a little bit older. My wife got a stable job. I want to go and meet and could be competitive and just try to
Hmm.
see where I'm at, just to see, because I ain't getting no younger, and these guys ain't getting no younger. Let me just go out there and see what I can do. And then it was an eye opener. I got humbled real fast. I'm going from being one of the great in the local scene to one of the worst in the international scene. So I was like, you know what? Let me step it up. And been trying to step it up and whatnot. But real life is, my window is closing. I know that, but I still want to have fun and still try to prove that I'm, good in my craft. So.
Hmm. So who did you reach out to when you first formed the Fighters Alliance, and what games were you playing when you started the Fighters Alliance? When did you open it up? When did you set up your team? And who's on the team now?
Well, when we started off reasonably, and the thing about it was, we at that time DMG had started. It was Dominion Method Gaming, and they were a
Mm-hmm.
team, and it was ran by Jose, and they had some good players on there. And the thing about it was, we knew the West Coast, East Coast always had Empire Arcadia. They've been a team since the existence and the beginning of fighting games. The
Mm-hmm.
West Coast really didn't have a team out there. They was just like a band of great friends that would help each other. But Dominion Method Gaming came out, and then I was like, I interviewed the their main head guy, and I was like, why? Fighting games is really taking off. It's really about to hit the spotlight. Why is there not a team in the Midwest? So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? So we on Father's Day, what was it? It was June 6th, 2010. We all got together. Everybody from Michigan. I mean, all the good players got together, had a lunch. It was like we gonna form a team, and we was forming a team, and we was coming together, and we was like, yeah, we gonna do this team. We gonna do this team, and we was fighting over the bickering about what we call the team. And it wasn't until 2 days later we came up with the Fighters Alliance. But the thing
Okay.
about it is, we were when we was coming up with the team, everybody was like, well, who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the figurehead? Who's going to get it together? And it wasn't until it was Antoine Ortiz was like, Sheldon, you're going to be the leader. I was like, I'm not a leader. I was on my Ultra Magnus. I'm like, I'm a soldier, not a leader, dude. I was like, well, he's like, look, you got all these guys together, everybody looking for you for support, and you the
Mm-hmm.
one, need to you gonna be our leader as far as like the business stuff. We're gonna be the players. We're gonna beat everybody ass on the sticks. We need you to just handle the business. I was like, so at the end of the day, the leadership as far as like me handling the business came squarely on my shoulders. Now, as far as the name, we was calling us all different types of names. Antoine was like, we should be called the Murder Mittens. And I was like, dude, we can't be calling ourselves the Murder Mittens, dog. Stop it. And then, and it wasn't until my co-host Andre, Talking Man 5000 was like, well, y'all a bunch of games, y'all a bunch of gamers, y'all fighting gamers, y'all like the Rebel Alliance. Why don't you just call yourselves the Fighters Alliance? And I was like, bet, and it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the people on our team, we've had some good people on our team. We had Wolf Crone, we had Perfect Legend, we had Banana Ken, we had Antoine Ortiz. I mean, at one point, like in 2000, near the end, in I would say in the beginning of January 2011, 2010, I would say arguably we were the best team because at that time we had Wolf Crone. He just was coming out of his prime. We had just signed Banana Ken. We had Carl, Perfect Legend, and we had Antoine. And I was like, nobody could. I felt in my heart, so nobody could mess with us. If we stuck that team together, we could have been, the premier team at that time. But egos and attitudes, people want to do their thing, so they left. So now, right now, we're working on coming back up. Like right now, we have good players. Like I have, oh my God, is Andre on the team? He's a Marvel player. He also plays Killer Instinct. We also have two St. Louis's great players. We have German Luger. We a Street Fighter AE player. We also have Jody the Great from St. Louis. He's Taken player, trying to get into Killer Instinct. We also have Damas from upstate New York. We also have Weapons Left, Tony from Detroit. My partner in crime is Daryl. He's from Detroit. He's like my second in control. Like he's like the player manager. Who else do we have? We have Josh. He's from Josh 99. He's from Michigan. We also have B from. I don't want to say he's from Toronto. He's a Marvel player. Actually, he's going to be at a tournament in South Korea real soon for
Okay.
Marvel 3. And then who else? Oh, I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, then we just picked up Common Sense. Common Sense is a King of Fighters 13 player. He's from North Carolina, and he basically came in second at the Fall Classic last year, and he's really been putting in work, and he's a real good King of Fighters player. So
Okay.
we have a bunch of people.
Okay. So, um, Shell, like you got a lot of different players in the well, a lot of different players on the team that play a lot of different games. Um, what games do you play as the leader, the general, the as the leader, the general, the boss of TFA? What games do you play? Now I know, but I want you to tell the listeners.
As far as play competitively, the games I play is AE. I play AE. I'm okay in AE, but my game right now is Killer Instinct. I've been really playing Killer Instinct a lot. What I'm waiting on is I just recently stopped playing. I was playing it for like 2 months. When it first came out, I was playing it for the whole month of November, the whole month of December. Then January, I played it just because of Spino. Then I stopped. because I'm waiting for Fulgore. But once Fulgore come out, I'm really gonna hit the floor running because I really want to shine in that because I feel like back when Killer Instinct was out, 1 and 2,
Mm.
Midwest ran Killer Instinct, and I mean we literally ran it. But now this Killer Instinct, I feel that it fell from the wayside as far as the Midwest. The Midwest was like, man, it's just another game, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna represent it. I'm gonna put it on my back. And I used to, the game of choice that I used to play with all the time is King of Fighters. King of Fighters '98 is my favorite game of all time, and I love it. But King of Fighters 13, I really, I got into it for a minute. You know, I really didn't, I really don't like King of Fighters 13. It's something about it that I don't like, and that's the only reason why I don't really take it serious. But
Mm.
when it first came out, because back home when I was in Michigan, I just recently relocated to Texas 2 years ago. But when King of Fighters 13 first came out, people
Mm.
was like, "Yeah, I always used to hear you. I always used to hear that you was good in King of Fighters, King of Fighters." But at that time, we was playing Street Fighter 4, and I was getting blown up at our locals all the time.
Mm.
It was like, well, King of Fighters out. You know what I'm saying? King of Fighters out now. Let's see how good you is. And it was like before. I mean, as soon as we got it, it was like it came out that Tuesday. I think that Friday we had a ran back, and I was like, okay, and I blew everybody up. Only person I lost to was like Antoine. I came in second, and I barely came in.
Mm.
I barely lost it, and he was like, "I respect you. You ain't trained and nothing." And then people was talking smack, and then my friend was like, "This dude got a family, a full time job, and he blowing you up in this damn game." And I was like, "Yeah." So then I was playing King of Fighters
Mm.
13. Then I just don't like the HD cancel, so I was like, quit that game. But right now, I just be dibbling and dabbling in Street Fighter, AE. I'm looking forward to Ultra, and I like to play Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct. I want to play Marvel, but to me, it just I don't like. I love Marvel. I love watching it. I love the hype. It's just that I wish the characters that it seemed like every fighting game I played, the characters that I do like, they always get the short end of the stick. And I really like Ghost Rider and Marvel. And
Mm. Now, see, I see with me and Marvel, I kind of got love hate relationships with it. I like two more than I like three. Two will always be the best for me. You know, I feel like a lot of these, you know, I feel like a lot of these fighting games now aren't taking the time to really develop, the fighting system. They're not fleshing out all of the characters. When they do make changes, they make changes to the wrong characters and to the wrong features and to the wrong uh, uh, techniques and the wrong moves.
hmm
I feel like with Ultra, I feel like Capcom should be focusing more on the next iteration of Street Fighter because we really, it's not back in the '90s like where they had to make improvements and things to keep on par with the arcades, and they didn't have a way to give the players the updated game mechanics, the updated character roster. But now that they do, and they keep pouring out the releases of these games, and they don't have to. And I feel like with Ultra, like it amazes me the difference between um, PlayStation and Xbox, where as the latency on 360 helps me out compared to PlayStation, where it's more accurate and it's harder to pull off certain moves. So do you think, so Shell, do you think that the fighting game industry, as far as the companies go, we're gonna move away from the players for just a second. Do you feel like it's lagging? I mean, is lagging behind, or or the companies really doing a good job and listening to the fans, providing a good product up front, and then listening to the fans as a whole? Do you think that they're doing a good job as fighting game creators in the content and the games that they're creating?
I think that the developer player relationship is at an all time high because of what players are doing. Because let's go back to like back in the 90s when the fighting games was out, you really didn't have the internet and you really didn't have a rapport with the players because, I mean, like I said, the fighting game community was grassroots, and the developers, they didn't. I wouldn't say they didn't care. They just didn't know. I mean, where back then you had the arcades. You send the game to the arcades, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? There was no updates. There was no internet to give a hot fix or nothing. You had to deal with it, and that's where
Mm-hmm.
Tiers List came from. And that's why Marvel 2, you got six characters that everybody played with instead of on Marvel 3 now. You see like a potpourri of different teams. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and then the thing about it is the the developer in back then you had to have game testers. You had to have people to test out the game and do hot patching in house. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Mm-hmm.
now you got the internet. Your buyer slash fan base is your game testers. You send out. That's why we have rampant beta tests now on consoles. We never had beta tests on consoles back in the 90s. Now you have it now because you got the internet. So you have beta tests on consoles. You have people testing out the game. That's why a lot of people complaining about Street Fighter. This is like the third iteration of
Mm-hmm.
um, within a span of 2 years or three. With a span of 6 years, you had three updates. Well, we had updates back in the 90s too. You had Street Fighter 2 World Warriors. Then you had Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. Then you had Street Fighter 2, Super Turbo, but that was over a progress of 6 or 7 years. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now it's quicker because the fans is saying what they want and what they need, you know. And then look at the other spectrum as far as NetherRealm Studios, They be like, well, how's this?
Mm-hmm.
And the fans like, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like this, and then they update. Now that end of the spectrum, that's where you can go far and you give the fans too much power. Like, especially with the Scorpion debate. Like Scorpion
Mm-hmm.
is so powerful and this and that, and then they nerfed him just because people online didn't know how to adapt and they thought he
Mm-hmm.
was too powerful and this and that. And then that's when you give, you got to find a balance. That's when you give the fans or the players too much power and
Mm-hmm.
dictate, whereas, and then also you got like developers. I mean, because like, look at the end of the day, the PC, esports, they always have like, the developers always back the players and stuff because,
Mm-hmm.
the PC makers or proprietary makers gave them money and whatnot. In the fighting game community, you don't have that. Only person, only two companies that's really like trying to build or try to build something on the grassroots or the players is Capcom and pretty much Atlas. ArcWorks is getting there too.
Mm-hmm.
NetherRealm is there, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to, support as far as like run their own tournaments. I mean, Sega's there too, because Sega hooked up with Alex Valle, and you got the
Mm-hmm.
Sega Cup coming soon. But it's an all-time high as far as developers handling and communicating with the players, running tournaments now. They just
Mm-hmm.
announced, Capcom just announced the Pro Circuit or the Pro Tour. Every grassroots tournament now gives you an entry to the grand finals in December of 2014. So
Okay.
it's on the right path, but it's a slow and steady progress.
Okay. So do you feel like Double Helix has made a successful entry into the fighting game market, like with Killer Instinct? And do you think that they really are taking care of the fighting game community with Killer Instinct? Because I look at what they've done in the span of 6 months with this game and the way that they're delivering the content. I feel like with the way Capcom is doing it, charging $60 or $15 on top of the original experience, when you could just pay $40 or pay a la carte for the characters that you want and for the content that you want, you know, uh, and providing the base experience for free. You get more and more people in with that. So you feel like Double Helix with Killer Instinct is doing a good job, and do you think now that Double Helix is after full bore and the story mode is off of the project, do you think that the next team will be able to accomplish what they accomplished?
To answer that, I got to go back a little ways. All right. People are complaining about how Double Helix is doing this, and how the route they took. And I'm gonna tell the people right now that the way Double Helix did it was beautiful and it was perfect, and it set the standard for as far as business models for as far as video games going from now on in the future, especially fighting games. You hate to hear that, but it's the truth. It's just like what Bethesda did with the horse armor in Oblivion. When that came out, everybody went ballistic because everybody wasn't cool with DLC. Y'all didn't fix the whole game. Y'all didn't. Yeah, when I pay $60, I should get the whole game. I don't need to spend another additional $20 or $30 to get the complete enjoyment of a full game. And at the end of the day, microtransactions took over just because of Bethesda coming out with that DLC of the horse armor. Now, fast forward to now with Double Helix, they took it a step further and made it even interesting. It's like, okay, we're going to give you the game free, but we're going to get you a character to get your palate wet, one free character, and not only is it going to be one free character, we're going to rotate that free character every month and a half, so you can enjoy it. Not only that, let's say you don't want to have the full game. You can spend like $3 to get whatever character you want, and now on top of that, you can still play online freely if you get that one character against everybody. So it was like the customization of a game. It wasn't a full game. You can get the full game, but if you want to mix or match or whatever, you can do this and get your palate wet. And then that was perfect. That was a way to coax people who don't even like fighting games to even give it a shot. And that's why Microsoft was like, we're going to buy Double Helix and we're going to make you in-house. And the reason why Microsoft sold the rights and whatnot to Amazon and whatnot is because, Microsoft wanted that money. They wanted that money. I'm saying, let's be real. Xbox One is not doing that hot. The PlayStation 4 is killing the Xbox One. Okay, but at the end of the day, if the Xbox One was doing so well, no way in hell they would sell Double Helix or sell, no way in hell, because Double Helix, because the owner, not the owner, but the head of Xbox One operations was like, man, they were shocked. They were completely taken aback of how successful Killer Instinct was, and that business model that Killer Instinct took will set precedents for not only just fighting games, for a lot of games, period. Because look at Titanfall now. A lot of people are like, this game is not a system seller. It only comes with multiplayer. And I'm like, look, Killer Instinct set the mode. Set the story. I mean, literally, the story mode doesn't come out to the end of this month. Titanfall doesn't even have a story mode. I mean, it has a half-ass story mode. But I'm telling you, when you get to Season Pass, it's going to come down. You're going to get a story mode for Titanfall in about 3 or 4 months from now. And a lot of people is upset. Now, I'm telling you, this is if you tolerate, this is what will happen. It's nothing. I mean, if you don't check this now, you're going to get more people or more developers making games like this. And it's just like how on Xbox One, when you install the game, you can play it or start playing it while it's installing. That's what you're doing with these games. You're playing the game while they're developing the game, and you're just paying for a portion of the game. You feel what I'm saying? And then they're patching it up and giving you new characters and whatnot, and that's what people have to feel and realize. The Killer Instinct and Double Helix set the precedence of the future for games right now.
I mean, me personally, I don't have a problem with that shit. I feel like that's, what I'm saying, that's where we at, with gaming, because a lot of people don't realize the hardcore gaming community, I would say, makes maybe about 5 million people. If you took everybody on every website, Twitch, you know what I'm saying, and as far as people who buy games and spend money on DLC, to break down, we are the minority. The casual market is the majority. The people who are going out there buying those systems, using them as Blu-ray players, using them as media centers, on top of having a game system, or the people who are playing mobile who really don't have the time to really don't want to invest the time or the money into consoles. that's that's what they're getting. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're providing because that's what the landscape of the business is. When people realize that, they'll get up off of this whole console versus PC thing, this whole hardcore versus casual, or this whole this gaming war in general. It would be a thing of the past. My next question to you, Shell, is what fighting games are you looking forward to for this year? So far, we got Blaze Blue, Cosmo Phantasma, and Chrono Phantasma. I'm sorry, and we have Tekken X Street Fighter. It had been revealed that the game may come out this year or sometime next year. Um, and of course Ultra, but I don't really count that as a new fighting game. But what games are you looking forward to for 2014, 2015?
Um, Ultra, like I said, Ultra. I mean, I'm looking forward to Ultra because I really want to, in case anybody is not aware, final round is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Final round is a tournament that's down in Atlanta, Georgia, and basically it's going to be the first as far as Street Fighter goes, it's going to be the first Street Fighter qualifier for the Capcom Pro Tour, and the winner and whoever get ranking points will go to get qualified for the grand finals in December 2014. But also Capcom is going to unreveal the fifth character, the fifth and brand new character. I don't know, at final round. I know Friday they're having a Ultra Street Fighter 4 exhibition or slash, exhibition
Mm-hmm.
tournament, and I'm thinking they're gonna reveal her after that,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll probably reveal her on Sunday night, during Street Fighter AE top 8, But all in all, they're gonna unreveal the fifth character, and I'm looking forward to playing with her. Um,
Who is it? Who you think it is?
Rumor has it, there's like the three biggest rumors right now. There's like it's either Goken's daughter, Fua, which I doubt, and a lot of people think it's gonna be Ibuki's best friend, Sari or Sardi or whatever her name is.
Oh, the what's the girl? The she's like she's a what is it? The belly dancer?
No.
Like,
She's
um.
if you ever play Street Fighter Cross Taken, you
Mhm.
always see Kidamitsu chasing this girl in the background and one of the
Mhm.
on the Mitsuma estates. That's her.
Mhm.
And that's what everybody
Oh,
okay.
okay.
And then or which I hope it is. I hope it is the one of Bison's dolls. What's her name? Satuma. She's a Vietnamese chick, but actually she looks black to me. Well,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
that she uses a staff, and I hopefully it's her because I just want to test her out. And
Mhm.
but when Ultra come out, I'm still gonna use Khan. I'm damn sure gonna use Elena. But that's one game I'm looking forward to. BlazBlue, even though it's a good game, I can't get into it. So, but I like watching people play it. I tried Hazama. Hazama was awesome, but I can't get into BlazBlue. I'm not looking to Guilty Gear. I freaking hate Guilty Gear.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right. I forgot about that.
but I might piss a lot of people off. But the reason why I hate Guilty Gear is not because it plays. It's just I don't like the character designs. I hate Faust. I hate the only character I like in that game as far as character design goes is Johnny and Cranberry Jam. Everybody else just looks and Chip. Everybody else just looks weird, and I hate that game. But then I'm not looking forward to that. Taking Cross Street Fighter. Here's the thing about Taking Cross Street Fighter. When it first got announced, everybody got hyped, and then it got quiet, and everybody was like, "What's the problem? They can't develop the game because of the projectiles." I was like, "No, it's not that." The announcement of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 pushed that game back because
Mhm.
you know, they want to put that game on the next console, next generation. But when it came with that, it cost money. So he was trying to
Mhm.
get money for that. You know what I'm saying? He's really trying to desperately to get the funding to get that game on the next consoles. You know, I'm pretty sure that game, Taking Cross Street Fighter, was pretty much done. I bet any amount of money that that the PlayStation 3 version and the Xbox 360 version was done. It was just getting tweaked and everything. But I mean, it was on the cusp. I would say it was good, like 65, 70% done. That's me personally. I could be lying. I could be wrong as two left shoes. But I was thinking all my heart and hearts, due to the announcement of the new consoles, that's the reason why we haven't seen it or even heard about it. Or I mean, I'm saying we're gonna hear about it. I'm pretty sure we probably hear or see some scenes or pictures about it at this year's E3. But other than that, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm also looking forward to Mortal Kombat 10.
Hmm.
I really want to see what NetherRealm does with that, and I'm looking forward. Hopefully, this is a big hopefully. Capcom really comes to their senses and make a Capcom versus SNK 3.
Yeah.
If they make Capcom versus SNK 3, I'm taking that game seriously, and I'm not playing anything else.
Yeah, SK2 is a classic. I mean, I know people who still play the game to this day. And I think is a Capcom All Star where it has like SK couple. No, I think that's is that a fan project? I forget about because Capcom All Star I think was either my or I'm not sure if it was an official project. They had SK and Capcom. I mean, they had Marvel characters. They had a whole bunch of different people up in that.
No,
Up in
Capcom
that.
All Stars was Ono's second fighting game. His first fighting game was Gem Fighter. That's a stupid ass game.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Oh, that's
mean,
right. Capcom All Stars was just Capcom tripping.
yeah.
Tripping. Somebody modded it though. Somebody modded it though, and had all different characters in it. But um, who is on your hit list, Shell? I asked Jody this the last on the episode that he was on. What are the top 5 fighters that's on your hit list that you want to get to face off against and take down?
Who's what players I want to play against? And just like try my best and try to beat them. That's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I don't need five. I tell you right now, everybody. Every time I go to a tournament now, because I don't go to tournaments that much, but now every tournament I go to, I don't care. I want to face everybody. I'm gonna say this to everybody who's listening, who just want to go to tournaments and try their best. You really need to just everybody is your opponent. Keep that friend stuff out of the tournaments. Keep that I'm scared of him. They put their pants on just as well as you put on yours. Anybody on any given day can get beat. Don't. The reason why a lot of people lose to like the Justin Wongs or the Chris G's or anybody else they're facing is because they get starstruck or they let their name or their sponsor or the fact that they're a sponsored player destroys their psyche, and that's why they go to tournaments and due to nervousness and nerve-wracking instance get destroyed. At the end of the day, get that out your head and try your best and destroy the person that's sitting next to you. I don't care if you've known them for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
think Isaiah, back in the day, Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were best friends, cool as friends. They did a little pseudo gay kiss right before the finals every game. But when the ball got tipped up, that wasn't his friend no more. That was his enemy. He tried to destroy him because at the end of the day, what was the pride for? It was that for that championship, that trophy. And me, like I said, I can't single nobody out as far as five people out. I mean, I just want to, I don't care who it is. It could be Justin Wong or it could be the guy from Austin, Texas. I want to destroy everybody. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right along with you. Um, it's like when Ken and Ryu fought against each other. You know what I'm saying? They didn't sit up and was like, "Yo, we gonna go easy on each other."
Hmm.
They went in and they went in all the way. I mean, of course, Takuma came in and they turned around a bite. They had to fight Bison or something like that. But Bison was taking control of one of them. But that's how I go. But when they fought pretty much to the death. I mean, they didn't kill each other though, like they had to kill everybody else. But that's just how
Right.
it goes. You can be the best friends, but when it's time to put the gloves on. It's time to put them gloves on. I help you get up off the floor. Whoever get knocked down, help the other person get off the floor. But I agree. It's a lot of kumbaya going on, and in gaming and music and entertainment in the entertainment industry at all, as a whole, and people forget that it's still a competition. You know what I'm saying? You could be cool, you could reach out, and this is why I had this show here for people like you, Shell, and anybody else that wants to get on to, what I'm saying, to tell people what they have going on and showcase their talent, or point people in the direction of what you're doing. Um, so what games right now are you playing? Shell, what is in your console right now?
Um, in my Xbox 360 is Street Fighter. No, in my Xbox 360 right now is Skyrim. I was gonna put Street Fighter in there to play that. On the Xbox One is Titanfall. In the PlayStation is NBA 2K14.
Okay.
So that's all I've been playing. Right, those are pretty much the games I've been playing right now. Titanfall. Oh my god, the game is so much fun.
Yes, I lose at that game, Shell, and I still have fun.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
My
first game I never had. I ever had fun losing it. Like they changed the game when
Yeah, I'm
when
not
you
even
lose it.
mad. I don't even get mad when Call of Duty goes play Call of Duty. I'll get pissed, but this
Yeah, you
game
get.
I'm get mad. I don't get mad. I just be like, I just chalk it up and like get my blow up. But it's like when I'm on foot and I'm running around, people kill me all day. But when I'm in that Titan, I'm blowing up everything. I take. I mean, I'm serious. I'm that damn good in the goddamn Titan. I've taken on 3 Titans by myself and just killing them all, just killing them. Cause that's how I was. I love Titans. I love Mecha. I've always loved
Mhm.
Mecha. I was godlike in Mecha Sword. I was godlike in Virtual On. You know what I'm saying? Give me a dash button and then some damn guns. Then you go give me a vortex shield to collect bullets. Man, I was killing everything. Like last
Mhm.
night, my mid son was watching me play. He's like, "Dad, you're not doing too good with this shot. With the machine gun. Why don't you go back to the shotgun? Because when I'm on shotgun, I'm a surgeon. I was like, I got to get good with the shotgun." He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, you died like 12 times and only killed like 2 pilots." I was like, I don't, I got to get good on that part. As soon as I got in that Titan, not drop down, and it was three. It was like you are, and then the AI be like, you are outnumbered 3-1. I killed all 3 of them. And one guy was like, kill this dude. I mean, I was killing him, man. I set my Titan up right. I got it where if I get in Doom state, let the survive. I gave it the survivor perk, so the health will go down a little slow. I got the vortex seal, and then I got something else, man. My Titan is, man. I killed all 3 of them. I was proud of myself. I was running around the living room like, what y'all niggas want? Y'all can't see me. I'm in my Titan. So the next round, they made sure they was headhunting me because they learned that on foot I can't do nothing. So every time I spawned, I was getting killed. I was getting murked out. But then when I got my Titan, motherfuckers was scattering like roaches. You know what I'm saying? It was out. It was like they don't want to deal with that. So and then like I said, like the game, I don't have no problems losing. And when I lose, I don't even get mad. I just be like, man, this is fun. This game is fun. So I like Titanfall.
Okay. Um, what fighting game do what I'm saying, that you would you like to see come back? From the dead, basically.
Hmm. Oh my goodness. I mean, every fighting game that I ever played or enjoyed that I played has pretty much came back from the dead. I mean, with the exception of Darkstalkers. I wasn't really a Darkstalkers fan. I mean, I enjoyed it, you know. But I mean, I wasn't like, oh, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it came to Darkstalkers. I played it, it was okay, cool. King of Fighters came back, but I mean, if any game I really want to see come back is Capcom versus SNK3. I really would love to see that. Or you know what? I'll tell you what game I want to see come back. You know what? I won't even. Um, what game was that? What was the name of that game? God damn it! It wasn't Fighters Mega Mix. Fighters Mega Mix was just crazy. I'm not that game. Fighting Vipers. Fighting Vipers. I would love to see Fighting
Oh
Vipers. I
yeah.
would love to see Fighting Vipers come back. But like I keep telling people, the inevitable is going to happen, and it's going to be
Mhm.
like one of the greatest games ever. Now that game, I would take time to play, and you already see it, and I'm letting people know right now. Do not be shocked in the next 2 years where we will actually see a Virtual Fighters versus Dead or Alive, an actual legitimate Virtual Fighters versus Dead or Alive
Did a live.
because
Okay.
I mean Akira, Pi, and Sarah is already in Dead or Alive
And
5.
live, right. Yep.
And people was like, this is great. And I was like, they did that on purpose just to see how people would react
React.
to them playing. So you cannot tell me that Namco and what was it, Tecmo and Sega is not busting their ass to come out with a Versus series.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And if they come out, that game is gonna be godlike.
But see, the thing is with them, though, they got to make sure that they got their net code right. They got to make sure that they pushing the game places, that they putting money up behind it. They got to make sure they around because Sega needs to really, really. I hope this new Sonic game really, put Sonic back on the map as far as his offshoot games or his adventure games because I feel like Generations was the best Sonic game in the last 10 years. Besides Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I feel like the rest of these games really didn't live up to the hype. They really disappointed me. I mean, I had fun playing some of them, but they weren't up to that level. And with Tecmo Koei, they just, Tecmo Koei's been doing all right, but they had to rebrand the company due to some financial trouble. So I mean, I hope that they can really, really, move and push forward, for what they're doing. I like Dynasty Warriors, like Samurai Warriors. The Gundam games are cool. I heard the third one wasn't that good, but I hope that they're around to make that happen. And what's your most anticipated game overall for this year?
As far as me playing or as far as being successful.
Playing. What you excited to play?
Like I said, I'm just counting the days until Fogor come out. When Fogor come out with Killer Instinct,
And he comes out this March, right, with the story mode, correct?
yep, that is correct. Actually, tomorrow they said because every Thursday Microsoft has a in-house stream, and and they said tune in Thursday, we have a big surprise. Everybody think it's gonna be Fogor, but I think they're gonna introduce the story mode or shed some light on season 2. But my anticipated is with Killer Instinct when it's finally complete and it's all said and done. That's my whole anticipation. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. My thing is right now, as far as to that is Killer Instinct is Fogor because when I played, Killer Instinct 1, my main was Fogor, and I alternated with Thunder. And then Killer Instinct 2, I went from Kim Woo to Fogor to Maya, back to Fogor. And this one, Thunder, I really, they totally changed Thunder because a lot of people who never played Killer Instinct don't realize that Thunder had a projectile. He had a dive kick or, like a condor dive like T-Hawk. And he doesn't have that now. And plus, he's a grappler. He was never a grappler in the first one, ever. So, but I liked him. And then as soon as, people saw the video of him, they was like, well, you play grappler, so you're going to get him. I was like, no, I'm not. But, yeah, I played him. But then I was like, when Fogor come out, Fogor back in the day was pretty much Rushdown. You know what I'm saying? He had zoning attributes like Jago, but he was Rushdown. He had lasers, he had teleport, he had slash dive. You know what I'm saying? He was good. Now, rumor has it, a lot of people saying Fogor is a zoner and he play like Sagat, and I'm like, I'm kind of miffed by that because I'm play Fogor. I never played Fogor like Sagat back in the day. I was always in your face, rush that shit down. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. And I'm like, okay, well, if he's a zoner in this one, you expect me to be the only Fogor that rushes down because I'm gonna be in your face with Fogor all day, and I'm gonna make it work. And people are like, well, he's a zoner. I'm like, trust me, I'm gonna make it work.
I feel like he he looks like he could be both because of the design and the way that they got him. I think what they did with Spinal and with Glacius is pretty much the same, but he just has a lot more in his arsenal. Spinal is more like a rush down character, but has those zoning attacks to take the person off guard. I feel like they did a good job in balancing out all these characters. I will say though, and I will agree with you. I saw your video about the Jago players. I think that was due to the fact that a lot of people had the free the free version. A lot of people just they stick to jumping. Like there's no people. It's like the user base is kind of split half and half, and in which you got people who are new to the game, first time players, and you got people who coming back and that are beginners or experienced like you. Because I remember playing Killer Instinct in the arcade. I never had played it. Dude, I was hollering at a chick Shell, and dude, pretty much say, hey, let's go, money match, and I found out it was her boyfriend. I mashed this dude, mashed his whole crew. I came in with $20. I left with 40. My aunt, rest in peace to Auntie Killzown, took all that money. I was mad, but yeah, I and the reason why I bring that story up there is because Killer Instinct is highly accessible. I think nowadays too. I feel like I had to get acclimated because they went from straight 2D characters and 2D backgrounds and 2D, 2.5D, and I pretty much suck when it comes to 2.5D games. Other than Mortal Kombat and Injustice, which they're still kind of they're 3D models, but they're more modeled like 2D characters. Whereas in Killer Instinct and AE, they're more 3D on a 2D plane. Not the other way around. Other than Smash Brothers, I get with you in Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers. You know what? We didn't. You know we didn't. I didn't even ask you about Smash Brothers. Do you feel like this Smash Brothers um will be the definitive Smash Brothers for the fighting game scene? Because it's small fighting game leagues with Smash Brothers, but it's recently Nintendo barred the streaming of their game. So now with that ban being lifted, do you think that that Smash Brothers will be the killer app for the Nintendo Wii U, as well as solidifying itself in the fighting game community?
I like that question because with Smash Brothers, fighting gamers went from man, Smash Brothers is not a fighting game to it being a party game with fighting in it. So now fully accepting it because of the hype in the crowd. And I give all the kudos to the world to the Smash community because even without the publisher or developers assistance, that community has been strong and I still feel one of the strongest communities out there. And Nintendo finally woke up and is now listening to that community, and that's why you have people like Justin Wong or Filipino Champ. Like, I can't wait for Smash to come out, and it also appeals to the fact that Nintendo, unlike Capcom, actually listen to the fans of who they want in there. They did a video. There's like 3 videos throughout 2013 where they asked the fans. These are people inside the community that have videos interviewing people, and the first thing out their mouth is like, if you could have 5 people to add to Smash, who do you want? And the number one was like Little Mac. Little Mac. They put Little Mac in there. They put Little Mac in there. It's a wrap. I'll play him, and then next a month ago they showed the video to Little Mac. Dude, everybody went crazy when Mega Man was announced. Everybody went crazy. My sons, they love Smash. They went crazy.
I went crazy too.
I went ballistic when I saw the video of this Little Mac. I'm like, I'm playing it. I don't care. I'm playing it. My sons was like, what? You playing it? Because when I play Smash, look, I'm honestly gonna tell you, I'm the fighting game guy in my family. I smashed out my brothers, my sons, whatever. When it came to Smash, my little brothers beat the shit out of me in Smash. They beat the hell out of me. I'm talking about, this is like when Smash first came out, Smash Brawl, Smash Melee, they would beat the hell out of me. I would play with Link, and they would destroy me with Mario, and then they do the taunt where he get all big, and then that was his thing. He's like, get big, and I'm like, man. So I get mad. I get so mad. I'm like, man, fuck. I'd be like, the hell with this game. Put in some Street Fighter. And it's like, no, you can beat it in Street Fighter. I'm like, you damn right. Put in some Street Fighter. Fuck this little punk ass game. It's like, no. You got to take the licks and the beatings and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then when the other game came out, I was playing with Sonic. I was playing with Solid Snake. I was still getting destroyed by Metal Knight and the Ice Climbers. And my son, who was my son playing? My other son, he plays Sonic. Youngest, he plays Sonic. My mid son, I swear to God, this dude is a tactician and a genius. And
Mhm.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified if he ever took fighting games seriously. I'm terrified because
He gonna make y'all. He gonna pay for all his tuition once you get him. You put him in
he's so his mind, the way his mind works, he knows the metagame, but he doesn't have the physical. He has the mental, but he doesn't have the mental. And I picked up on this because I had just got him into comic books. I got him into Marvel, and then when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came on the Xbox, they start playing it.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
my son and my mid son and my younger son, they had just finished reading Civil War, and they just
Mhm.
finished playing Marvel Alliance 2 with the Civil War. And my younger son, he he loves Captain. He joined the Captain America side, and my
Mhm.
mid son, he joined the Iron Man side. So they start
Uh,
playing. So my young son, he playing with Captain America, Spider Man, and some other thing. My mid son, he picking Iron Man, Sentinel, and another guy. And I'm like, why are you picking Sentinel? He the best character in the game. And I'm like, what? This is when he's 9 years old. I'm like, what?
mhm.
He's like, yeah, he the best character in the game. He can fly. He can stop flying. He can shoot lasers. And I'm like, okay. Then what
Yeah.
sealed it? How I know my son is a great tactician, and I'm thinking I'm gonna make him start playing fighting games. Was when I was playing Marvel, and my son was like, why are you not playing with Blackheart? I'm like, because I don't like
Yeah.
Blackheart. Like you need to. He's like, Blackheart fits your description. He fits your thing. You need to start playing with Blackheart. So I was like, now mind you, this game has been out for 10, 15 years.
Years. Yeah.
So I'm like, Blackheart, Blackheart ain't even that good. So I'm talking to my friends, and they're like, dude, Blackheart, if you got to know how Blackheart is one of the best characters in the game compared to
Yeah.
six. So I'm like, So then I started researching. I'm looking at my son like, the hell? Well,
Mhm.
yeah, you need to start playing some fighting games because you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And even when he plays Street Fighter, I was like, no, I did the test. I was like, okay, here, pick which character you're going to use. He's like, all right. He runs to Fei Long. I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, what? Like, but the thing is, he don't like fighting games. I'm just saying, I think he potentially, if I can get him to like actually take the physical part of it, as far as the working the stick, I think he can be real good. But
Mhm.
I'm not gonna push it on him. I'm just gonna see if he's gonna like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you, I mean, I know some of the libraries run Smash tournaments. I mean, you take them there and win the baseball tickets or whatever, and then like that's funny. I mean, that's an interesting story, Shell, because my nephew is kind of the same way. He loves shooters, but I put him. I was basically using him as my practice dummy on Marvel 2.
Hmm.
He picked Blackheart, Juggernaut, and Thanos. This is after like 10, 15 matches. He come in, okay, Thanos, boom, traps the person. He'll switch Thanos out, and or no, he'll use Thanos' support because he have
Hmm.
Blackheart on the field. He'll throw the bubble, trap you with Thanos' bubble. Then he'll use a Blackheart's special. All the while he building meter because he's getting damaged by that force field from Thanos. So then you get hit with the thing, then he'll come down with Juggernaut, boom. Tech with Juggernaut, he hit with the strong arm special. And
Hmm.
then he just come up, he throw a whole bunch of minions at the screen, everything. I'm like, and I couldn't beat him. I'm like, this is insane. How did you figure this out? Because I was picking Ryu, Cyclops, and Mega Man. So I'm going in, Hadouken, Optic Blast, and then with I was going crazy. I was just obliterating because he would try to tech with all his people at the same time. So I'm burning his people out. He figured it out. I'm like, this is insane. These kids, man, you put them on an old school fighter, they like geniuses. And I think I think a lot of it has to do with with oh my bad, my camera went off. A lot of it has to do, Shell, with the fact that I think that the games were made back then and the kids now are that it's genetically proven that over time children they get smarter than their predecessors because of what's around them.
Right.
It's amazing to me that they catch on to the older games faster than they catch on to the newer games, and newer games are easier. I mean, you know as well as I do know, Shell, back in the day, games we used to play one game for almost half a year because the difficulty was so hard. And and now these kids will pick up Mario. I saw this little kid on Twitch the other day playing Mario 3 on the Super Nintendo, and he going through it like it's nothing. Remember back in the day, I had played it, and I had to take my time. I'm like, okay, I got this past this level. Okay, save it, cut it off. We gotta make sure we got enough lives. This little dude, like halfway through the first part of the kingdom. I'm like, this don't even make sense. But do you think that's my this leads into my next question? Do you think that there should be a sub community for younger fighters? Because the younger fighters and the younger gamers in general, just younger gamers in general, I feel like are eclipsing us. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think they really don't know what's going on in the outside world. They just, at that stage in their lives, they only know going to school and spending time with family, maybe going to church, and they ain't gaming, sports, or whatever else they do for fun and recreation. You know?
I mean, as far as like little kids, I mean, I don't think we should separate them. I think little kids should get that experience. Like, you got Noah. He's a little bit older now. Noah, he was like the first little kid, like 9, 10-year old that got sponsored to go to travel to tournaments to play. I mean, you got Noah, you got Winrix, you got these are like kids. You got Native Impact, still in high school. You got Shine from New York. I mean, these little kids. I mean, there's little kids out there. I mean, CJ Truth. I mean, he's pretty much about to be a senior now. But you got little kids that's playing good and whatnot, and that can they can beat me out in Street Fighter and stuff like that. I think we shouldn't separate them. I mean, because look, Justin Wong, when he first started going to tournaments, he was only 13. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we should separate them out. I think we should encourage them to play more and be good. Like just now, my oldest, he tried to play fighting games. That's just not his craft. His craft is first person shooters. And right now he's playing Titanfall. I was playing Titanfall for 24 hours, or I would say a good roughly 14, 15 hours, and I'm at level 15. Whereas he just played it for the first time last night, and he played it for like, I would say a good. I don't know how long he played it for last night. I know he played it like from midnight to like at least 3. And then this morning I came in. I came out from walking. I came in. He started it up, and I'm like, "What level you are?" Because when I saw him, he was level 3 last night. And then I look in. He like, "I'm level 18." I'm like, "God damn!" Oh, you level 18 already? It's like, yeah. I was like, "Damn!" And I know what I'm doing. And then he taught me how to wall cling. I didn't even know you can wall cling. I didn't know you can wall jump and wall run. I didn't know you can hang on the wall.
Wow.
And then he was like, I was like, what are you doing? Because I was watching him do the training part of Titanfall. And I was like, why don't you just go to the exit? He's like, no, I'm trying to wall cling. What you mean wall cling? I'm trying to hang on the wall so I could just hang on the wall and start shooting people. I'm like, I was like, you could do that? He's like, yeah. He looking at me like, you didn't know that? I was like, shit. I think half the world don't know you can do that. so.
Yeah, I just found out last night. Looking at an article online. Yeah. Yeah, man. So what tournaments and projects that you had coming up, Shell, for TFA and for yourself in the rest of this year?
As far as like what we're gonna do, as far as
Yeah,
like
what you gonna do, what you got planned, and everything else. But wait a minute. I forgot to ask you one of the most important questions. How did you and Andre or Taco Man 5000 hook up? Before we get to that question, let me ask you this question first, because I'd be wrong not to ask you that, not ask you that question.
we hooked up because at what year was that? 2008. 2008, near the end of 2008, 2009. I read an article that was written by, I forget who written it, but it was on the Coalition, thecoalition.com. The people that are aware, the Coalition.com is an urban hip hop / gaming website. And I remember writing to them like, yo, I would really love to work or write for you guys because I'm always interested in video games and I think it would be awesome to write for you guys. They hit me up, asked me to write a article, a test article, and I wrote an article saying when is it time to give up the controller? and that article got me on to be a staff member of the Coalition.com. And while I joined the Coalition.com, a Chocolate Man 5000 was part of it. And since then, since we were the two old heads on the group, we clicked, and that's how we formed, and that's how we became cool.
Hmm. So when did y'all decide to, when y'all decided to leave, uh, the coalition? Shout outs to them. Um, and then make the Real Gamer Show.
Well, the thing about it was, there was some in-house politics that went down, and the coalition figured out that we, due to creative differences, we weren't a good fit for the Coalition.com. So they decided to let me and Andre go at the same time. And then at that time, we was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
we can do our own. So then that's when we came up with the Real Gamer Show.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What happened to Fighters Fury? Because I know you and Chauncey True Talent and a couple of other members from TFA, y'all had a website that was strictly dedicated to fighting games, and I've been checking up on it. And I don't know, like, have y'all gotten away from it, or y'all revamping it? Um, I know that Chauncey is no longer part of TFA, but what's going on with Fighters Fury? Is it still around? Is for the listeners?
Fighter Fury is in hiatus right now. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. See, the thing about it is, there's old saying you can't serve two masters. Well, at my time, I was serving four. I had the family to take care of. I had the Fighters Alliance. That started blooming. Then I had the Real Gamer Show. Then I had the Real Gamer Show, Fighters Fury, the Fighters Alliance, and plus work and dealing with my children's school. So it became time consuming. And then, Fighters Fury, what I dream about is I wanted to be where I can go to every tournament and interview people and interview players and, try to help sponsor tournaments or add to the pool or to the pot, what I'm saying? But that takes finances and whatnot. But right now,
Mhm.
I was like, I really want to do that with Fighters Fury because I really would enjoy it. But right now I had to put it on hiatus because it was too time consuming and I don't have the proper finances to support that as well as the Fighters Alliance. So I was like, I'll
Mhm.
put that on hold. Once I get the finances, I'll bring the Fighters Furies back and go to tournaments, interview players, and talk to
Mhm.
them, and try to contribute to the pot and prize or try to help sponsor TOs. But right now it wasn't a good look. So I was like, I had to choose. I had to either choose TFA or I had to choose Fighters Fury. So I
Mhm.
chose TFA. And Fighters Fury is, like I said, it's on hiatus. It may come back, it may not come back, but at this point, we'll see.
Okay. So that's pretty much it. I didn't answer like um as many questions as I asked. We've been going in for about an hour, almost 30 minutes. I mean, this right here. This is a legendary interview, folks. This is my man Shell. Been knowing him for a few years. I mean, him and Andre pretty much blessed me into the video game industry. Back in the day, I even wrote a song about it. I mean, things change. People change, situations change, but Shell and Andre have always been, supportive, and they've always, held me down. They always listened to me, and they've always seen where I was coming from and where what I wanted to do. So this is why I created Killzown Interviews, um, for this platform to highlight people like Shell, like Jody. We're trying to get Andre on the show and other artists and other people, in my community and abroad. This is your show, ladies and gentlemen. And Shell, you got anybody you want to shout out before we get out of here? We came to the end of the show. Me and you could
Um,
probably be sitting here for hours talking about stuff that had happened. So.
yeah, I want to shout out my family first. I want to shout out my boys. I want to shout out my wife because if without them, I wouldn't be nothing. I want to shout out my teammates. All of the teammates, we just need to come together and try to do big things in 2014. I want to shout out the rest of the fighting game community. We want to grow. I mean, as much as everybody want to fight and argue, we still on the same page. We want to see this grow so we can be the ability where we can play video games and get paid for it and don't have to work a 9 to 5. I want to give a shout out to to the Fighters Alliance sponsors. We are officially sponsored by Razer. We are on Team Razer. I just signed the contract. The contract. We had a yearly contract. It expired in 2013. That's why we were taken off their website because our contract officially was expired. But now we renegotiated. We're sponsored by them, and we will be put back on. We will be put back on their website. A lot of people was like, "Are you still sponsored by Razer?" I'm like, "We're going through a negotiation of contracts." And yes, I mean, that's a lot of people in the fighting game community, they know me and some people don't. But a lot of people that, I just want to let a lot of people know that, I have made some leaps and bounds in the fighting game community. The Fighters Alliance was the very first fighting game company to be sponsored by Team Razer, period. And, that speaks volumes. Fighter Fury was the first company to interview a Japanese developer and have the interview on our website in Fighter Fury, in both in English and Japanese, So a lot of people try to discredit what I've done in a short span, but I've done a lot. We also had, and then in the Real Gamer Show, we had Cherise Nicole, the star from My Life as an Addictive Gamer from the MTV Real Life. We had her on the show. So I mean, I've made some accomplishments that I'm proud of. But shouts out to Razer. Also shout out to our other sponsor, Daily Motion. Assure you, we're gonna do some content. We're gonna do some academy, how to play fighting games, learn your fundamentals for both Razer and Daily Motion in the near future. And that's about it as far as, and then shout out to all the people I know in the industry.
All right.
And shout out to you thank you for interviewing me.
Oh, no problem. Shel, I just want to shout out. I want to shout out God first and foremost, my family, being supportive. I want to shout out to you, Shel, for getting on the show. I hit you up, and we did this, lickety split. We did it right then. That's what I want to do. I want to keep these interviews rolling for anybody who wants to get on here. And I shout out to you for coming on. It's such short notice. I know I've been bugging you about it, and I try to do that with people. I try to hit people up maybe once or twice, see if they're interested, and then I kind of move on and come back. But you hit me back, within about a week and a half. And we got it. We were able to get down and make it happen for the viewers and the listeners. And it was a blessing to get you on today. Shout out to Real Gaming News. Shout out to my editor-in-chief John Ira over there. Shout out to stlhiphop.com. I just was recently brought on as a partner. You'll see all my YouTube videos over there at stlhiphop.com when the site goes back live, once it relaunches. That's coming up here in the near future. Shout out to everybody on SoundCloud, YouTube, all the social media pages, Facebook, Twitter. Shout out to you once again, Shel. Shout out to Jody for jumping on the show, one of the early episodes. Shout out to everybody that's been on the episode of Killzown Interviews, and shout out to everybody who wants to be on there. If you want to be on there, email me at djkillzonejones.com or djkillzonejones@gmail.com or mrpxtent@gmail.com, and we'll get it started. So thanks again, Shel, for jumping on the show with me today. This is Big Killzown Interviews, number 8 with Big Shel. Actually, I want to go ahead and make a quick announcement before we get out of here. I'm dropping the numbers off of Killzown Interviews. The episodes will no longer be numbered. You will see them when you see them. That's it. Thanks again, Shel. And we out of here, people.
Later.
Later. Peace.